Chris Sims, again, former NFL quarterback, talking about who the most important position groups are for this Browns-Texan matchup that aren't quarterbacks. This from NBC Sports, Chris Sims unbuttoned.
I put the Texans corners in this for a few reasons here. Stingley, Steven Nelson, and Desmond King. One, Cleveland's running the ball better than they were at that point of the season on Christmas Eve. They've kind of figured that a little bit. I think they've got these tackles in shape to where I think, they're going to rely on the run game more than they did the first time around. All right, so I think the Texans are going to need more people in the box, right? They're not a big defense, but they got speed and everything along those range. But I think they're going to have to worry about that a little bit. So you'd want to favor that to a degree. But the other thing is, too, the coverages they play in Houston, and we talk about this a lot. Like when we talk about the 49ers and how to attack it the last few years, what do I always say? They take away the 10 to 15-yard throw.
Right.
So you got to throw the ball down the field. They kind of call your bluff. Flacco and company did that a little bit. What do I always say with the 49ers too? Like they try to take away the middle of the field. Shanahan goes, wait, I kill everybody here. Don't let everybody kill us there, right? He tells his team that. So where do I always say the last few years you're playing the 49ers? Throw the ball outside the numbers. They're corners. It's playing a zone, but it really ends up like a man-to-man more times than not on the outside. Flacco can throw the ball outside. He did that a lot in the first matchup.
And again, those are going even a little bit deeper with what we were talking about the matchups and the understanding of how they attack it. If the Browns can run the football against the Texans and that interior defense, this will be a long day for the Texans. They're pretty good against the run, even though Jonathan Taylor kind of carved them up last week. If the Browns find a way to run the football a little bit, it's going to be a long game for the Texans.
Yeah, well, unfortunately for the Browns, we don't have anything close to Jonathan Taylor. So I don't anticipate us being able to carve it up against them because our run problems have just been so on and off that it's hard for me to think that they turned a corner and or they might just be hot or cold at a given moment. I just think that they really rely on those guards being perfect, like on time, and that's just never going to happen consistently. And this is the last few weeks of the season outside of that game versus the Colts. The Texans have been playing at a top 5 level, and maybe with a guy like Jonathan Taylor who's been able to break some tackles, make some guys miss, we just don't have that at running back or at guard where we can just like have these mistakes happen. So I don't think we'll be able to I kind of worry, my big worry about the game is like what happens if the Browns get up early? Are we going to be able to sustain that lead without doing stuff that puts the ball at high risk of turnover or making us have incredibly short possessions because we can't get the run game going? That's going to be something for the Browns to answer too if they're fortunate enough to get into that position to where they can get a lead. It's like, hey, can we manufacture this run game versus a good run defense at will? Not just like, hey, we're going to get like a 20-yard chunk here or there. Like at will, 4 or 5 yard chunks consistently. Can they do that? They've done that like 2 games this season.